You're holding on too tight to people, to expectations, to fears. But what if the key to true freedom wasn't in grasping harder, but in letting go? Imagine this. You're carrying a heavy backpack filled with everything you think you need: approval, control, certainty. It feels safe until you realize it's slowing you down. You want to move forward, but every step is harder. The weight becomes unbearable. And then a thought crosses your mind. What if I just put it down? This is the paradox of life. The more we cling to what's outside of our control, the more we suffer. We seek validation, but it never feels like enough. We chase certainty, but the more we know, the more questions arise. We argue, we prove, we defend, only to realize that peace was never found in winning. It was always found in surrender. This is where Stoicism comes in. A timeless philosophy that teaches us to release what doesn't serve us and focus on what truly matters: ourselves. In this video, you'll learn how to let go of the burdens holding you back. You'll discover why seeking approval is a trap, why you don't need to know everything to be at peace, and why walking away from unnecessary battles is the ultimate power move. You'll also uncover the strength found in solitude, the wisdom in silence, and the freedom that comes from rewriting your own story. These aren't abstract ideas. They're practical lessons you can apply right now to transform how you think, how you act, and ultimately, how you live. By the end of this video, you won't just understand Stoicism. You'll feel its power working within you. So stay with me until the end. The most important lesson is waiting for you. And if you find value in this journey, support the channel by hitting like and subscribe. Let's take this step together towards Stoic self-mastery, inner freedom, and emotional resilience. Because when you focus on yourself and let them go, you don't lose anything. You gain everything. 1. Detach from the need to be loved. We spend so much of our lives chasing approval, the compliments, the admiration, the feeling of being wanted. It all seems essential. But what if I told you that the very thing you're clinging to is what's holding you back? Imagine this. You're painting a masterpiece, your life. But instead of using your own colors, your own vision, you keep adjusting based on what others like. A little more blue because they prefer it. A softer tone because it offends less. And before you know it, the painting isn't yours anymore. It's a collection of borrowed preferences, a reflection of what they want, not what you are. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Yet, most of us give that power away. We let our worth be dictated by social media likes, compliments, and the fleeting approval of people who may not even truly know us. But the truth is, no matter what you do, some people will never fully accept you. Even history's greatest minds, Socrates, Galileo, Seneca, were judged, misunderstood, even rejected. If they couldn't please everyone, why do you think you can? This constant craving for validation is exhausting. It keeps you in a cycle of seeking, adjusting, and never feeling truly at peace. The Stoics teach that true freedom comes when you let go of this need. When you stop seeking external validation, you reclaim your sovereignty. You become the artist of your own life again. But how do you do it? First, shift your mindset. The next time you catch yourself craving someone's approval, pause and ask, am I doing this because it aligns with my values, or because I want them to like me? If the answer is the latter, reconsider. Choose authenticity over approval. Second, practice small acts of independence. Try saying no to something you don't truly want to do. Express an opinion without worrying how it will be received. Start making decisions based on what you want, not what will make others happy. Third, remember this: the people who truly matter, the ones who genuinely respect and care for you, will accept you as you are. And those who don't, their approval was never worth chasing in the first place. Letting go of the need to be loved doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means freeing yourself from the chains of constant validation. It means standing firm in who you are, even when the world wants you to bend. And most importantly, it means learning to give yourself the love you've spent so long seeking from others. Epictetus once said, "Seek not that events should happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." Instead of seeking to be loved by everyone, seek to love yourself enough that external approval no longer defines you. Starting today, challenge yourself. Pick one moment where you would normally seek validation, whether it's posting on social media, adjusting your words to be more likable, or hesitating to express your real thoughts, and don't do it. Instead, stand firm. Be comfortable with being misunderstood. Be content with being disliked. Because the moment you stop needing approval, you unlock a new level of freedom, one that only those who practice Stoic self-mastery truly understand. And when you release that need, you'll find another invisible burden waiting to be lifted, the relentless desire to know it all. Let's explore that next. 2. Abandon the desire to know it all. We live in an age where every question seems to have an answer. A simple search, a click, and within seconds, we have an explanation for anything we want to know. But has all this knowledge made us any wiser? Or has it only left us more restless, more anxious, more overwhelmed? The desire to know everything is a trap. It keeps your mind racing, chasing certainty that will never come. We believe that understanding more will give us control over life. But life doesn't work that way. The more we try to grasp it all, the more we realize how little we actually know. The Stoics understood this long before the internet and the constant flood of information. Epictetus warned, "Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them." Our suffering doesn't come from ignorance. It comes from the illusion that knowing more will give us peace. Think about it. You scroll through endless news updates, devour books, absorb every new opinion. Yet, do you feel more in control, or do you feel more burdened? Like a cup overflowing, your mind is too full to hold on to what truly matters. The Stoic path to inner freedom is not about knowing everything. It's about focusing on what is within your control, your thoughts, your actions, your response to life. Everything else, it's noise. So how do you let go of this endless search for certainty? First, start by questioning your information diet. How much of what you consume is actually improving your life? How much of it is just distraction? Limit your intake. Be intentional. Learn what serves you and discard the rest. Second, embrace the unknown. Not everything needs an answer. Some questions have no resolution, and that's okay. Instead of resisting uncertainty, make peace with it. When faced with something beyond your understanding, remind yourself of this simple phrase: "I do not need to know everything to live well." Finally, practice stillness. Instead of filling every quiet moment with more information, allow yourself to just be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "People seek retreats for themselves, in the country, by the sea, in the mountains. But nowhere can a person find a more peaceful retreat than in his own soul. Let your mind be that retreat. Free yourself from the need to have all the answers. Start today. Reduce unnecessary input. Pause before you seek an answer to something trivial. Instead of looking outward, turn inward. The more you let go of the need to know, the more space you create for clarity, peace, and wisdom. And once you release this mental burden, you'll see another one waiting: the habit of blaming others for your circumstances. Let's uncover how owning your experiences is the next step toward true Stoic self-mastery. 3. Own your experiences. There's a simple truth that most people avoid. No one is responsible for your life but you. Not your parents, not your friends, not society. The moment you place blame on others, you give away your power. You become a victim of your own story instead of the author of it. But what if, instead of blaming, you took full responsibility? What if, no matter what happened, you owned it? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The world will never be fully in your control. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will change. Life will throw challenges your way. But none of that determines your happiness. Only your response does." The Stoics teach that true freedom comes from within. When you stop blaming others and start owning your experiences, you regain control over your life. Think about a time when something didn't go as planned. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe life just felt unfair. It's easy to blame external forces, to say it wasn't your fault. And maybe it wasn't. But blaming doesn't change the situation. It doesn't empower you. What does? Asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? What is within my control right now? Take responsibility, not as a burden, but as a source of strength. When you do, you stop waiting for things to change. You start creating change. You stop needing apologies. You start moving forward. You stop living in the past. You start building your future. Epictetus reminds us, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. No matter what happens, your response is yours alone. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, see yourself as the master of your own fate. But how do you apply this in real life? Start small. The next time something frustrates you, instead of blaming, pause. Ask yourself, what can I control in this moment? Focus on action, not excuses. If you make a mistake, own it. Learn from it. Improve. If someone wrongs you, don't waste energy waiting for them to make it right. Find a way to move forward on your own terms. Taking responsibility isn't always easy, but it's the path to Stoic self-mastery. It frees you from resentment. It eliminates excuses. It gives you the power to shape your life. And when you take ownership of your experiences, something incredible happens. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself in every argument. Let's explore why breaking free from the need to win. Every argument is the next step toward true inner freedom through Stoicism. 4. Break free from winning every argument. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every argument needs to be won. Yet we often find ourselves locked in debates, desperate to prove our point, to be right, to have the last word. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what am I really gaining? The need to win every argument is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of attachment. attachment to ego, attachment to control, attachment to the illusion that changing someone's mind will bring you peace. But true peace, it comes from knowing when to walk away. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion." In other words, you don't have to engage in every battle that comes your way. You don't have to react. You don't have to waste your energy proving something to someone who isn't ready to listen. Think of a time when you got into a heated argument. Maybe it was online. Maybe it was with a friend, a co-worker, or even a stranger. In the moment, it felt important. You needed to make them understand. You needed to prove them wrong. But what happened afterward? Did winning the argument truly make you feel better, or did it just leave you drained? Stoicism teaches us to ask a better question. Is this argument bringing me closer to inner peace, or pulling me further away? If the answer is the latter, the best response isn't another counterpoint, it's silence. Emotional resilience with Stoic wisdom is about choosing battles wisely. The strongest people are not those who dominate every discussion, but those who know when to let go. So how do you break free from the need to win? First, recognize that your opinion is not your identity. You can disagree with someone without it being an attack on who you are. Second, when faced with an argument, pause. Ask yourself, what is my real goal here? Is it to seek truth, or is it to protect my ego? If your goal is truth, then listen. If it's ego, then let it go. Third, practice silence. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Instead of speaking, observe. Instead of reacting, reflect. When you choose silence over unnecessary conflict, you don't lose, you win. You win peace. You win self-control. You win the ability to focus on what truly matters. Try it today. The next time someone provokes you, resist the urge to respond immediately. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? More often than not, you'll find that it isn't. And when you master this, you'll discover an even greater truth. You don't need to be perfect to be at peace. That's what we'll explore next. Accepting your imperfections as a path to true Stoic self-mastery. 5. Accept your imperfections. Perfection is an illusion. Yet we spend so much of our lives chasing it, trying to be flawless, trying to fix every mistake, trying to meet impossible standards. But what if the key to peace wasn't in fixing yourself, but in accepting yourself? We judge ourselves harshly. Every flaw feels like a failure. Every mistake feels permanent. But the truth is, imperfection is not weakness. It's human. It's real. It's the very thing that allows us to grow. Seneca wrote, "What progress have I made? I have begun to be a friend to myself." This is the true journey, not to be perfect, but to be at peace with who you are. Think about it. Would you rather be perfect or free? Because the pursuit of perfection is a trap. It keeps you stuck, constantly measuring yourself against impossible expectations. But the moment you accept your imperfections, you release that burden. You stop fighting yourself. You start living. Consider the Japanese art of kintsugi, repairing broken pottery with gold, turning cracks into something beautiful. Your imperfections are the same. They don't diminish your worth. They make you unique. Every scar, every failure, every moment of struggle, it all shapes who you are. And that is something to embrace, not erase. So how do you apply this in daily life? First, shift your self-talk. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," replace it with, I am growing. When you make a mistake, instead of feeling shame, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Every flaw is an opportunity for wisdom. Second, let go of comparison. Social media, society, even our own minds tell us who we should be. But the only person you need to be is yourself. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul. Turn inward. Find strength in who you are, not in who the world expects you to be. Finally, practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to a friend. Accept that you will never be perfect, and that's okay. Because true Stoic self-mastery isn't about becoming flawless. It's about becoming unshakable in the face of imperfection. Starting today, stop trying to fix every crack. Instead, fill them with gold. See them for what they are, evidence of growth, resilience, and authenticity. And once you embrace your imperfections, you'll discover another hidden barrier, the invisible stories you've told yourself for years. Let's uncover how liberating yourself from limiting beliefs is the next step toward inner freedom through Stoicism. 6. Liberate yourself from limiting stories. The stories you tell yourself shape your reality. Every doubt, every fear, every limitation, you didn't create them overnight. They were built over years, layered with experiences, shaped by opinions, and reinforced by repetition. But here's the truth. These stories are not facts. They are illusions, and they are keeping you from becoming who you truly are. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Think about that. How much of your pain, hesitation, or insecurity comes from actual events, and how much comes from the narratives you've created around them? The belief that you're not smart enough, that you'll always fail, that you're not meant for success. These are not truths. They are echoes of the past, stories that have been told so many times they feel real. But they don't have to define you. You are not the story. You are the storyteller. You have the power to rewrite the script, to let go of the limiting beliefs that have held you back for so long. Ask yourself, who would I be if I stopped believing these stories? What risks would you take? What dreams would you chase? What version of yourself would finally be free? Imagine someone who has always been told they're not good at something: math, public speaking, relationships. Over time, they internalize this belief. They avoid opportunities. They stop trying. Not because they truly lack ability, but because they believe they do. The only thing standing in their way is their own mind. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If your thoughts are full of limitations, your life will reflect them. But if you choose different thoughts, if you challenge your own beliefs, your entire reality can change. So how do you break free? First, become aware of your limiting beliefs. Notice the words you tell yourself. I can't. I'm not good enough. I always fail. The moment you recognize these patterns, you take the first step toward changing them. Second, challenge them. Ask yourself, is this really true? More often than not, you'll realize it's not. It's just a habit of thinking, a habit you can break. Third, replace them. Instead of saying, I'm terrible at this, say, I'm learning. Instead of, I always fail, say, every setback teaches me something. Shift the narrative. Own the story. This is Stoic Self-Mastery, controlling your mind so that it no longer controls you. When you stop believing the old stories, you make space for a new version of yourself. A version that is no longer bound by fear, no longer trapped by past failures, no longer limited by what others have said. Starting today, rewrite your story. Question the beliefs that hold you back. Challenge the thoughts that make you doubt yourself. And as you do, you'll find that the greatest freedom of all is the one found within. But this journey doesn't end here. There is one more lesson to uncover: embracing the strength in solitude. Let's explore why being alone is not a weakness, but the ultimate path to inner freedom through Stoicism. 7. Embrace the strength in solitude. Solitude is not loneliness. It is strength. It is clarity. It is the space where you discover who you truly are, away from the noise of the world. Yet, many people fear it. They fill their days with distractions, afraid of sitting alone with their thoughts. But what if solitude wasn't something to escape, but something to embrace? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "People seek retreats for themselves, in the country, by the sea, in the mountains. But nowhere can a person find a more peaceful retreat than in his own soul." The Stoics understood that true freedom isn't found in external escapes. It's found in mastering the ability to be alone, to be still, to be content in your own company. Think about it. How often do you check your phone simply to avoid silence? How many times have you said yes to something just to avoid being alone? We have been conditioned to believe that solitude is a weakness, that being by ourselves means something is missing. But the truth is, when you learn to be comfortable in solitude, you become unshakable. You stop relying on constant validation. You stop seeking approval. You no longer fear being alone because you realize that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. Picture a river, calm, steady, undisturbed. Now imagine throwing a rock into it. The ripples form, disrupting the surface, but eventually the water returns to stillness. Your mind should be like that river. But if you are constantly surrounded by distractions, constantly seeking the opinions of others, you never allow your mind to settle. Solitude gives you that stillness. It allows you to reflect, to grow, to truly listen to yourself. So how do you embrace solitude? First, stop fearing it. Begin with small moments. Spend 10 minutes in silence every morning. No phone, no distractions. Just sit with your thoughts. See what arises. Second, reframe loneliness as an opportunity. Instead of thinking, "I'm alone," think, "I have time for myself." Use that time to journal, to read, to simply breathe. Third, practice self-reliance. The more you enjoy your own company, the less you depend on others to fill an emotional void. Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. And one of the greatest freedoms is the ability to stand alone, without fear, without need, without dependence. Starting today, don't run from solitude, walk toward it. Find peace in the quiet, strength in the stillness, power in knowing that you are enough as you are, without the constant presence of others. Because when you master solitude, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you unlock Stoic self-mastery, emotional resilience, and true inner freedom. You don't need to control everything. You don't need everyone's approval. And you don't need to prove yourself in every battle. True power comes from within, from mastering your mind, letting go of what doesn't serve you, and embracing the strength that's always been inside you. In this journey, you've learned how to release the burdens that hold you back, to detach from the need to be loved, to let go of the endless search for certainty, to take full ownership of your life. You've discovered the wisdom of choosing peace over pointless arguments, the power of accepting your imperfections, and the freedom that comes when you rewrite the stories you've been telling yourself for too long. And finally, you've uncovered the greatest truth of all, that solitude is not emptiness, but strength. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Every moment you spend trying to change what's beyond your control is a moment wasted. But every moment spent mastering your thoughts, your actions, and your inner world, that is where true freedom begins. So, what's next? Take action. Start small. Choose one lesson from this video and apply it today. Maybe it's resisting the urge to seek validation. Maybe it's pausing before reacting. Maybe it's spending a few moments in silence, reconnecting with yourself. Whatever it is, commit to it. Because real change doesn't come from knowing, it comes from doing. This is Stoic Self-Mastery, the ability to live with clarity, strength, and purpose. The ability to let go of the unnecessary and focus on what truly matters. If this message resonates with you, support this journey. Hit like, so this wisdom reaches more people. Subscribe to Stoic Teachings today to continue learning and growing. And if you have a thought, a lesson, or a question, share it in the comments. Let's build a community of resilience, wisdom, and inner freedom through Stoicism. Your journey has already begun. Now, take the next step.